Help us level the playing field. Sign the parliamentary petition today to fuel the growth and fund the game.
Lights at Lakeside Stadium here in the NPL Victoria Senol League. brought to you by Senol. It's an absolutely spectacular night for football as we get underway this evening with South Melbourne hosting Avondale FC. South Melbourne have come off a 3-win streak. They want to make this their 4th win in a row. They've beat the top 3 sides in the league in Bulleen, Boroondara and Alamein in the past 3 weeks. Their fortress here at Lakeside, the second game they've played here this year, they'll be looking to get it underway with another win under their belt. Avondale join us after a loss to Alamein last week. 1-0 they went down away. So this will be a great opportunity for them to show some resilience and pick up the win this evening. It's great to be with you this evening. My name is Melissa Barbieri. As I take you through the changes in the lineups, both teams making 2 changes to their starting lineups. Last week, we had Schmelzer off with an injury early on in their clash. So we have Alana Byrne slotting in with Nikki Furukawa. With 2 goals to their name, they'll be looking to get on the score sheet again this evening. As for Avondale, 2 more changes in their starting lineup with Lazarevska and Ross heading to the bench, with Sydney Allen and Daniela Galuccio returning to the starting 11. As we see Avondale with the kickoff, heading from left of your screen to right in the all-white kit, with South Melbourne in their home colours of South Melbourne blue. Get underway here with Hannah Wilkinson to take the kickoff for Avondale. It's 18 degrees here in Melbourne. Clear skies. It's been a fantastic run of weather. So the pitch is sleek as Westland swings it out to Iamano, who turns on it. She's got Taranto on the sideline to help. The 1-2 with Taranto perfectly worked. The retreating Avondale defenders, Ocado getting a good tackle in, but it will be the 4th corner of the night, heading to the home side, South Melbourne. It was a tough start to the season for South Melbourne. Not as many wins under their belt that they had have liked, but certainly the last 3 games they have really hit their straps, working well together. They went 2-0 up against Bulleen last week. Bulleen scored that consolation goal. But to get another 3 points against tough opposition tonight will be up for grabs. As we see Kellen Knight clear for distance. Goodsmith with the ball back into the box for Akara with the header, and the clearance from Ocado only goes as far as Wallhead. Westland under pressure from Miata as Avondale clear the decks and send it high. Miata cuts out the ball from Goodsmith and puts it over the sideline. Taranto with the throw, forward run from Iamano, cleared by Barriero for Avondale. Driving through the centre. Clash off the ball there for a moment. Heidi Dalton gets on the ball for Akara on the turn. She gets it across almost to Roach, but it'll be a goal kick. Slight change, late change to the team sheet there with Dalton now onto the pitch. Ball bouncing Trying to control with Sloan. Wilkinson with the tackle. Ricochets, falls to Roach. She'll get it to Vlanic. She'll turn out of danger and play Goodsmith on the left-hand side. Westland. Back to Collier. She'll draw out the defenders, Collier. Goodsmith with the step over. Plays a ball in behind. Jared Saris recaptures for Avondale, and Bennett will have to clear for distance. Goodsmith with the header. Sloan trying to protect. Long ball forward from Trainer. Sloan Young battling out. Both Americans. Be no doubt an interesting duel between Collier and Young. Galuccio with the switch. Cut out by Taranto. She's driving. She's got time and space ahead of her. She deals it out to Iamano. Late collected again through that midfield position was Taranto. Referee Sharp just letting play run. South Melbourne still in possession here. Cleared by Barriero. Wilkinson drops it into Kellen Knight. Galuccio tries to turn on it, but Goodsmith well read. Goodsmith once again. Wilkinson tries to get it to Allen, but can't quite get the 1-2. Vlanic with the overhead. Can't quite keep it in. Be an Avondale throw. Trainer with the throw. Sloan, the obvious target, but cleared by Vlanic. Restarted through Janet Zaris. She'll go all the way back to Bennett. Ricardo. Ricardo sweeps out to the left-hand side. Miata drops into the central position, trying to create that 3 at the back, pushing numbers forward. Barriero getting high and wide from that left back position. Avondale trying to push their players up high, but South Melbourne able to pick out the passes through that central area through Roach. But they do lose possession. Galuccio to Miata. Ball over the top for Sloan. She has the pace, but Collier with some smart work in defence. Young does try and get a piece of the pie. Candy able to hold their ground well at the top of the box. Wallhead out to Taranto. Iamano. Picked up by Avondale. Barriero. Quick throw from Barriero into Wilkinson. Tough battle in the midfield here. Both sides very strong in their midfield capacity. Furukawa couldn't quite get a toe on it to keep it in. It'll be an Avondale throw. Miata under immense pressure from Westland. Westland giving chase right into the corner. Galuccio drops in to try and pick it out, but they're still stuck in that corner, Avondale. They'll try and play out. Galuccio long. Cullen Knight. Back to Barriero. Cardo. Miatas dropping in once again, trying to create that 3, push players higher up the park. Ricardo. Miata. Janet Saris. Wilkinson drops it into Galluccio. She goes over the top to Young, but deflection. Trainer. Into the run of Young. She does get a flick on. Miata. Forward pass to Young, but couldn't quite measure it. Taranto for South Melbourne will clear. No real options forward. No clear options anyway. Galluccio in the centre of the park. Formerly of Heidelberg, Galluccio is playing in the centre of the park. She has been known to occupy central defence. Maybe that's a ploy from the coaching staff to give themselves a bit of defensive grunt in that midfield. Very technical player though. She's great on the ball. Ricardo. South Melbourne just waiting for the right moment to press. In no rush at all, South Melbourne to put the pressure on, sitting deep in that block. Just waiting for Avondale to make the mistake, and they do cough up possession. Westland out to Taranto. The patience now from South Melbourne will need to be at the forefront of their mind. Avondale clearly having possession for a good chunk of time as Collier has time and space to run forward. She goes past Trainer. She's got time and space. She can go all the way here, Collier. If they keep backing off, she's got Vlanic out on her left. She does use her. Vlanic with the ball in, across the box, zinged in. Iamano couldn't quite get a foot round it to send it home. But what a delightful pass across goal was that from Vlanic. She just needed the numbers. Great work from Collier there to get up the park, sidestep Trainer, and really try and make that 2v1. Probably just too much on that last touch, but because Vlanic was in and around her, she was able to keep possession and whip a ball in through that 6-yard box. Just waiting for someone to tap it home. Janet Saris collected by Vlanic for Akawa into Roach. Roach with the flick on, but Furukawa they found themselves just that little bit offside, but it falls to Bennett. The referee will play on. Bennett with the long kick. It'll go all the way there to Candy in the South Melbourne goal. They've had a good run of clean sheets. Geo Candy, they've been able to manage clean sheets from Burundara and Alamein. Just the lone goal against Bulleen in the last 3 weeks, so they'll be looking to keep as clean a sheet as possible, help their team with another win. Like I said, this would be their 4th win if they can manage it tonight in a row. Janitsaris, this time Galluccio dropping in to that back line. And really, unless they push players wider and higher, they're not really taking advantage of dropping a midfielder into that back line. They really have to get people to push forward, create more spaces. We see Elise Callan-Knight out on the left wing now, but the long pass in just finds Byrne in the back line. Allen, she's been known to strike one from that distance, but she has enough company in South Melbourne to thwart her advances. Callan-Knight, she's got Wilkinson at the back post. Wilkinson falls up and it's in the back post. What a run by Wilkinson. She gave the call early to Elise Callan-Knight, and Avondale has broken the South Melbourne home hearts with the early goal here at Lakeside Stadium. South Melbourne 0, Avondale FC 1.
Goal scored for Avondale, Wilkinson. The score is Avondale 1, South Melbourne 0.
You can see that well-worked progress from the midfielder stepping out onto the left wing. And Wilkinson found herself at the back post. And just as Elise Keller-Knight delivered, she made a run into the box, and you can't stop the powerhouse of Wilkinson. That's her 7th goal this season. The New Zealand international retired internationally last year, but found herself missing the game, and she's arrived here at Avondale. 7 goals to her name, 2 assists. And that was Elise Keller-Knight's 3rd assist for the season. South Melbourne will look to regroup here. They haven't been behind in a while, but no doubt have the arsenal to broach the net of Avondale. Cleared by Taranto. Picked up by Avondale. Isabella Accardo. Back to Bennett in goal. New Zealander in goal for Avondale. Been important to their success so far. Sitting 7th on the ladder at the moment. They'll climb a few steps with this sort of result if it's at the end of 90 minutes. Miata back out to Bennett. This time South Melbourne unable to sit on their haunches any longer. They're 1-0 down at home, so they're sending a little bit more of a high pressure. Avondale not able to advance as comfortably as they did in the opening minutes. Still comfortable in possession though. South Melbourne just getting that little bit more stretched. Not as compact as they were in the opening minutes. Avondale in no rush to force possession. They're trying to play out. Barriero this time clears. Miata through the centre. Once again, Keller-Knight making that run forward on the left-hand side, but can't pick up the possession there. Taranto taking the throw for South Melbourne. Galuccio. Back to Accardo. Janet Saris. Press by Vlanic. Furukawa trying to put the pressure on, but Avondale get out of danger there with the pass of Trainer into the midfield. Miata pushed off the ball by Westland, but the pressure deemed legal. Collier with the throw. Cleared by Trainer for Avondale. Whoa, just a nasty bump in there. Just no malice intended, but just the height at which Allen jumped, just a small bump from Roach. Just took her legs out from under her, and she'll get some treatment here. The American legend here in the Senol NPLW here in Victoria, Sydney Allen. Played for a number of clubs over the years, but found herself here at Avondale. Just had the wind knocked out of her a little bit, and she's a tough character. She wouldn't want to go out of the game this early. Just getting the wind back into the lungs can be a frightening feeling if you can't quite catch your breath after a knock like that. She seems to be okay, walking off under her own steam. Gives time for South Melbourne to regroup, to build some character and resilience through this early goal from Avondale. They lead here through a Wilkinson header. Delivered, beautiful delivery by Elise Callan-Knight. As we see Sydney Allen just off the pitch at the moment. Can South Melbourne capitalise on Avondale being one player down? Ricardo into Wilkinson. Wilkinson out to Barriero. Maybe a shoulder injury too for Allen. She might need to get strapped up, so she might be off the field for that little bit longer here. South Melbourne can sense they've got some ability to press here. They force the pass to Ricardo. Lovely touch by Ricardo to get around the pressure. Wilkinson can't quite keep it in. Avondale will have to play a player down. South Melbourne able to win a free kick in a dangerous area. Over the ball is Roach. Ball in. Trainer can get there first. She's got no one ahead of her though. She'll drive. Furukawa gets front position and clip from behind. Trainer asking the question, but smart work from Furukawa to get into that front position and draw the foul. South Melbourne will play quickly. Yamano driving through the centre. She'll get it out to Vlanic. South Melbourne need the numbers in the box. Blanche's cross goes across goal. Barriero, forward run from Callan-Knight. She'll drift inside, picked up by Woolhead. Taranto out wide. Roach. Trainer. Apologies before I did mention that Heidi Dalton, but she is on the bench. Along with Pantazopoulos, the highest scorer in this team at the moment, alongside actually Misha Westland for South Melbourne. Bennett, calm and composed work from the Avondale goalkeeper. Barriero out to Callan-Knight, forward run from Young. Collier gives chase. She has to clear for the touch, but it will be another corner. This time for Avondale, their first of the evening. Allen to take, in swinger, front post, cleared by Woolhead, top of the box, Miata on the volley, what a stinging bullet, just glances the upright. She did have time and space at the top of the box, dangerous from that area. Candy, long pass to Vlanic, cut out by Trainer for Avondale. Goodsmith turns, back heels to Collier. Collier now Miata, just the tug of the arm from Collier. As Miata got front position, Young on the right hand side, they play quickly. Young, ball into the box, Callan-Knight just offside either way. Candy had it covered. Avondale enjoying a huge chunk of possession here at Lakeside. He's seen out for an Avondale throw. Cullen Knight into Miata. Miata with Wilkinson. Wilkinson trying to find Allen. Goodsmith rounds Miata into Roach. Cut out. But once again, just interchange of possession for both teams. Avondale enjoying the majority of possession in this opening 25 minutes. South Melbourne just trying to rush their attacks that little bit too much. The Avondale pressure in the back line just giving South Melbourne no room to breathe. Taranto looking to jump on that right-hand side, so Bennett will go long. She sweeps everybody up. Galluccio dropping in. Bennett goes long in the end. Wilkinson tries to flick. She regains possession and gives it to Cullen Knight. Great work by South Melbourne. Just that front pass that they're missing out on at the moment. Really great through the middle of the park and in those wide areas, just lacking that ferocity in that front third, making that final pass. Galluccio, she'll swing out through Janitsaris. Janitsaris will drive. Janitsaris forces it. She plays Roach. Tries to get it to Westland, but once again, that front third pass just not eventuating for South Melbourne at this moment in time. Bennett, long. Wallhead clears for South Melbourne. Goodsmith with the follow-up header, but no one in front position for South Melbourne to regain that possession. Goodsmith into Roach. Roach looking to pull the trigger. She does in the end, but nothing to trouble Bennett. Once again, just forcing the play, South Melbourne. Bennett. Up to Wilkinson, well controlled by the striker. Allen gives to Trainer, back to Allen. Trainer has time to turn out, play Janitsaris. Shutu will turn, go back to Bennett. Cardo. Under pressure now from Roach. Accardo keeps possession, but the pulling from Emily Roach gets a warning. The advancement of Accardo just breaking that South Melbourne press. South Melbourne pushing their line up now. 1-0 down at home. They're going to have to chase the game now. Cardo, Avondale patience, really paying off. Their rotations, you can throughout the middle of the park. Miata up high now. Allen with Wilkinson. Just 2v2 now. If Wallhead can get back, they end up getting back South Melbourne. Young on the right-hand side. She cuts inside. She unleashes Callan Knight at the back post on the follow-up shot. Blocked by Taranto. Allen cuts inside on the volley. Wait, it hits the upright. Certainly looked like it was going wide. Young dishes out a nasty challenge to Collier. Collier is down in the corner. Candy will pick up possession for South Melbourne. Collier looking to ask the question about the tackle, but just may have been an off-balance bump. Strength of Young in that corner, undeniable. This time, another foul on Emily Roach. She'll need to be careful. She'll go into the book nice and early. Callan Knight on the ball for Avondale. South Melbourne with a deep, deep, deep line. Young. Candy climbs the... Candy has to punch. She was collected by Young. They were collected by Young on the way through, but they cleared the danger. Much more calmer from South Melbourne now. Should go wide. Roach to Collier. Funich just pointing forward to the runner for Furukawa. Byrne switches out through Candy. Candy out to Taranto. Forward run by Westland. Taranto manages to get it forward, but cleared by Janitsaris. Wallhead. Sydney Allen with the ricochet header. Collier has drifted inside. Goodsmith in the back line now for South Melbourne. Flick by Wilkinson, falls to Young. Great tackle by Goodsmith at the top of the box, and it's a foul on Young. With Goodsmith staying down, she does have her hands around her knee. The young midfielder. Physio called on for Goodsmith. She was tracking back after being called into that back line as Collier gravitated into the midfield, and she was doing her defensive duties when at the top of the box she had to stop a Sloane Young attack and managed to clear, but has fallen onto that right knee. Concerns very much held for that knee test, trying to see if Goodsmith needs any more attention before stepping off the pitch. It's been a great start this evening for the visitors as they've come into this Friday night clash in the Senol NPLW Victoria League. They've gone ahead 1-0 here at Lakeside Stadium. Very much on the front foot this evening with some great possession, some work through the middle of the park and some great rotations, setting themselves up for a fine ball in from Elise Callan Knight on the left wing. She played the ball into the 6-yard box, and Wilkinson, who had gravitated to the back post, came through the centre of that 6-yard box and finished at the back post. As we see Goodsmith just walking off the park at the moment. Unsure if she'll re-enter the fray here. She is walking off on her own, by her own steam, but maybe that they'll need an early sub here, South Melbourne. She goes down for another test of the knee with the team physio. South Melbourne now with 10 players on the park as Furukawa goes in, travels a long way into the box. Bennett stays on her line, and it's a late offside call. But the wonderful tackle by Ocado, she wasn't to know that Furukawa was offside. So we still see Goodsmith on the sideline, still getting her knee tested. They will have to go to the bench here, replace the midfielder. Wilkinson with the flick. Back to Collier. So Young giving the pressure and knocking it out over the sideline. South Melbourne will have to go to the bench here with Goodsmith going down in that challenge. She'll be exiting the field. She'll be staying off, and Chiara Hiranopoulos will come into the South Melbourne midfield, look to do a job for Eva Goodsmith. Collier with the long throw. Trainer clears. Miata. Avondale shirts all around South Melbourne 2, trying to get the numbers behind the ball.
Substitution for South Melbourne
Hiranopoulos
FC,
with the
coming
early
off number
touch.
6, Eva Goodsmith,
Out to Taranto.
replaced by number 12, Chiara Hiranopoulos.
Taranto forward. Too much on the pass, though, for Iamano. Avondale dropping all the way into their 18-yard box. There's just not enough time and space to get in behind there because they're covering that back third really well with numbers. South Melbourne will have to try and pull them out of position before advancing. Bennett, long. Roach with the header. Barriero. Ocado back to Bennett. Bennett with the clearance once again. Just a foul burn there on Wilkinson. And she'll be called back here for a talking to. She's asking the question about how she's supposed to defend. Iamano doing smart, just trying to calm the situation. Lana Byrne, passionate competitor. Ocado. Just brought back by the fourth official, Ocado. Ocado, once again. Callan Knight this time dropping into the left back position to pick up possession. Callan Knight this time holding, playing quickly. Westland out to Vlanich. Better numbers into the box now, South Melbourne, but the touch across. Trainer mistimes the challenge, and it'll be a South Melbourne free kick. Trainer with the apology on Vlanich, but great work there from South Melbourne to play quickly in that free kick through Emily Roach. Vlanich now wide. She may look to deliver here, but more than likely delivery into the box. But she can, if she can sneak a vision into that back post. Vlanich, outswinger, into the box. What a lovely ball. What a save by Bennett. That surely was headed home by Wallhead. Bennett instrumental in keeping that out of the back of the net with a low diving save to her right. She made that look easy, but it certainly was not. Super ball in by Vlanich. She found the opportunity, threaded the pass, but Bennett was up to the challenge. Roach with the delivery. Swings it in. Front post header from Knight. Furukawa can't keep it down. They'll want that one back again. They just didn't have the time to allow it to drop back down. Hit it on the rise. Bennett. Going long, looking for Wilkinson to flick it on. This time Wallhead advancing. Blanich out to Wallhead. Wallhead on the side of the goal as it drifts past Bennett. Centre back meandering forward, trying to create something for the home team. Allen to Young. Young trying to protect. Was able to get a piece of South Melbourne foot onto that. Be an Avondale throw in. Trainer into Young. Trainer with the switch. Taranto cleared it but falls to Avondale once again. Barriero, Kellen Knight. 1-2 with Miata, doesn't quite work out. Clash of bodies. Yamato just fouled by Miata. Roach looking to take it quickly again. It worked for them last time. Created an opportunity for South Melbourne. Wallhead. She'll take through Candy this time. Wallhead forward. The runner for Furukawa can't be met. Barriero back to Janet Saris. Bennett this time. She'll calm proceedings here. Bennett. Out to Ocado. Avondale just goading South Melbourne into a press and trying to get in behind as Kellen Knight brings it down beautifully. Forward pass to Wilkinson. Wilkinson tries to get it to Young, but South Melbourne have the numbers to clear the danger. There's 5 minutes left of regular time here at Lakeside Stadium. Barriero nods it down to Emily Roach though. The ricochet, they just can't quite move the ball quick enough, South Melbourne, to switch the play. Bennett. Cleared to Barriero. Can't quite keep it in though. Just to play it down. Looks to be Galuccio. I'll need the trainer onto the pitch. This time Avondale. South Melbourne unfortunately had an early substitution with Eva Goodsmith having to go off with what seemed to be a knee injury after she made a last-ditch effort in defence to thwart a Sloane Young attack. Another moment here for South Melbourne to try and regroup. Little bit of injury time in this first half, no doubt. Galuccio up and about. South Melbourne throw as we restart. Taranto. Miata clears for Avondale. We'll go over the touch. Taranto will drop back to take the throw for South Melbourne. keep pushing forward, South Melbourne, but they need to regain possession and really switch the play as quickly as possible. Roach can turn. Gets it back out to Iamano. Iamano keeps it in. Looking to take on Barriero. Great defending by the Avondale defender, but it will be a South Melbourne corner. Shouts for a goal kick from the Avondale bench, so unheard. Blanich will take from this right-hand side an in-swinger for the left footer. South Melbourne throwing the numbers forward. Avondale trying to ensure this clean sheet stays intact into the halftime break. Ball into the box. Bennett collects. Great work by the Avondale goalkeeper. Read the flight well. Clears. Miata with the close control, but the pressure from Taranto picking up possession for South Melbourne. Callan Knight back to Galluccio, who's re-entered the park. Young forward to Wilkinson. Wallhead tracking back for South Melbourne, and she'll clear the danger. Avondale in no rush at all to restart this game. 1-0 ahead at Lakeside Stadium is all they could have hoped for in this opening 45 minutes. Callan Knight into the box. Westland tries to control. Ends up clearing. Roach pats it down for Iamano. She can only send it over touchline. Toronto tries to clear once again. Chronopoulos. Barriero. Miata with the forward run. Just asked to come back a few metres in that throw. Avondale will retake. Miata turning. Callan Knight. Westland picks it up for South Melbourne. They'll go ahead. Blanich into the challenge with Trainer. Falls to Collier. Collier goes inside. She's looking for the pass. She picks Westland out to Blanich. Blanich back to Westland. Allen for company though. Blanich turns out of the danger. Into Chronopoulos. Great play from South Melbourne. Interchanging position, combination play. They have the numbers in the box, but this time they can't get it into the danger zone. Wallhead giving chase. She'll come inside. All the runs are being made forward, but no real options at feet for Wallhead. Clearance. Galluccio sends it back forward. Wilkinson on the turn, cuts inside. She's looking for help on that right wing. She's got Allen behind. Miata out on the left. Just a call from the referee to give a drop ball. Avondale did have possession. South Melbourne were in prime position to defend though. Ball be given back to Avondale. Avondale switches out to Barriero. We'll stretch the game a little bit, Avondale. Wilkinson with the head. Westland trying to keep possession. She does through Iamano. Taranto into Westland. Westland driving forward on that right-hand side, just forcing play down that right-hand side when they've got time and space on this left-hand side. The tackle from Galluccio. Just applying that amount of pressure that South Melbourne can't get past. No doubt why she's been pushed into midfield. The defensive prowess and the late challenge by Miata will be a free kick for South Melbourne. Into the 4th minute of added time. We did have a couple of injuries to both Avondale players and South Melbourne, with Goodsmith going off. Sydney Allen having to get some treatment on pitch as well. So no doubt might be the last opportunity for South Melbourne to regain parity as they head into the sheds. Roach over the ball. This too will be an outswinger. Into the box. Numbers. Vlanich at the back post. The ricochet. It'll be another corner for South Melbourne. Dying seconds here for South Melbourne. Great delivery by Emily Roach. Just some questions being asked of players in the box. Roach on the right-hand side now to take in swinger. Front post. Taranto there, but it's cleared. Iamano back out to Roach. Roach back post. For Akara up. Cleared by Trainer. Another clearance by Young. And this will be the half-time whistle. Very much the last minutes of the game. Very much in the balance. South Melbourne trying to push for that equaliser. But they head into the sheds at this Victorian NPL Senol match at Lakeside Stadium with the visitors 1-0 ahead. As we head into this second half here at Lakeside Stadium, for round 10 of the Senol NPLW here in Victoria, with South Melbourne behind on this Friday night clash here at Lakeside Stadium to the visitors, Avondale. It's thanks to Hannah Wilkinson header in the 13th minute for Avondale after a delightful cross from Elise Callan-Knight. South Melbourne have had their chances, but Brooke Bennett in goals has made an incredible save to her right-hand side to keep the visitors with the clean sheet. But we have one change at halftime with Panterzopoulos coming onto the field at halftime. Substitute for South Melbourne added to the earlier substitution of Eva Goodsmith, who have to go off with a knee injury. And it's Tyler Vlanich that's come off on the wing for South Melbourne. As we see Galuccio go down with cramp early on in this second half. I have to get the trainer to come on. Avondale did pick up possession there. It was a save in the end by Brooke Bennett. So hopefully nothing untoward for Vlanich. Trying to see, yeah, she may be icing a hamstring on the bench for South Melbourne. You can see maybe the substitution was forced. Panterzopoulos has been a bright spark for South Melbourne. She's got 3 goals and 2 assists this season. As we see a substitute for Galuccio, she'll be exiting the field, and Alana Bogas will be joining the midfield for Avondale. Bennett has the ball dropped at her feet so she can continue play. Roach with the clearance. Iamano drops it to Hronopoulos. Hronopoulos cuts inside, but the numbers of Avondale creating a tough opposition for South Melbourne to chase the game. Wallhead out to Taranto. Blocked by Callan-Knight. Ricardo tries to get enough onto it. She's able to sweep the ball back, but Furukawa was just tripped over in the meantime, and no foul called. Furukawa comes from an offside position though. And then the clash between Miata and what looks to be Roach in the centre of the park has both players on the ground. It's been an injury-prone evening for both sides. Galuccio going on after the halftime break. Gingerly walking off on this near side. And Roach able to walk off, and Miata both shaking hands in the middle of the park. Some accidental clashes. Janet Saris picks up the ball for Avondale in this free kick. She'll leave it for Brooke Bennett to take. Bennett has Accardo. She'll go long. Controlled by Young. Young back to Janet Saris. Tackled by Furukawa. They too have 2 goals. Furukawa looking to add to that tally tonight after starting for the first time this season. Pantasopoulos looking for the switch. She's cut out by Callan Knight. Forward run from Sloane. Callan Knight dragged back down, but not illegally. Westland will go. Ventures forward into Roach. Roach trying to thread the needle to Iamano, but Barriero. Westland back out to Iamano. Iamano takes the extra touch, gets it in, and the back heel from Furukawa. Inches away from creating an opportunity for South Melbourne. Bennett with the long throw. She's got the pressure on there, Barriero, but she was able to get the ball out to Accardo. Switch it from Bennett to Janet Saris. South Melbourne sitting much higher with the press. Gambling a lot more in this second half after going down early in that 13th minute. Miata backing away through the centre, finds Wilkinson. Wilkinson on the switch. Trainer keeps it in for Avondale. Forward to Sloane Young, and then ricochets out for a throw. Wilkinson heading home her 7th goal of the season. Ball falls to Pantasopoulos. Pantasopoulos to Taranto. Taranto trying to find the run of Furukawa, but it's too much on it, and Furukawa was offside in the meantime. South Melbourne very much going a little bit more man-to-man in that in the second half. Putting the pressure on Avondale. Bennett forward. Wallhead clears for South. Clash of newly substituted Bogers. But the forced play of South Melbourne once again falls to Avondale. Collier turns out. She'll go back to Byrne, who clears, but over the side. Trainer picked up by Roach. Young uses her body well. She gets the ball to Miata. Lovely work by Miata just to slice it through the advancing South Melbourne defenders in Westland and Roach. Forward pass by Hronopoulos into Furukawa. They turn. They're looking for options. Collier joins the play from the back line out to Pantasopoulos. Pantasopoulos whips the ball through the centre of the park, cleared by Miata. Avondale, trusty midfielder in the defence, ready to clear the advancing South Melbourne attack. Collier with the throw. Janet Saris Can only get a flick on Furukawa on the volley. Once again, hits it as it's rising, and they can't find the back of the net. Incredibly difficult ball to hit on the rise and keep down at the same time. They've had quite a few opportunities to do that, but opportunities to do that, but they'll endeavour to hit one more sweetly. Bennett clears. It's been an intense battle here. Avondale seems to have more of the possession of the play, most likely because they're a little bit more calm in possession, and they're looking to switch and draw out the South Melbourne defences. This time Iamano picks it up for South Melbourne. She's just bundled off the ball by Ocado, and just the hand goes up in apologies there from Ocado. She was trying to find the pass at Barriera, but more to the point, South Melbourne's press is that little bit more intense in this second half. Iamano, she can get past Barriero. She's got time and space in the box for Akara at the front post. They can't quite get a foot to it. Ocado will clear. Wallhead advanced forward, pushing Wilkinson. What a control. Once again, the ricochet of the ball, this time falling to Roach. She goes inside. Ball bounces. Bennett can cover before it goes over for a corner. Much brighter in this second half for South Melbourne. The high press really giving them possession high up the park. Collier will shield out for a throw. Pantasopoulos falls to her feet. She's taken down. This time call is made for a free kick for South Melbourne. Beautiful night here at Lakeside Stadium. The Senol NPLW round 10 clash between South Melbourne and Avondale. Avondale with the slender lead in the 13th minute through a Hannah Wilkinson header. Delivery into Pantasopoulos. Lets it run. She's got Janet Saris to beat, but she'll whip the cross into the box. Back post, Iamano, ball bouncing. Bennett times it well. Cleans it up nicely. Dishes out to Callan Knight. Trying to find the touch of Wilkinson. She gets there ahead of Taranto. The switch now through the centre of the park is cut out by Pantasopoulos. Pantasopoulos driving forward. The high schooler doing well to get the ball out to Hernopoulos, but Hernopoulos just drifting offside. Pantasopoulos very much a player that should endeavour to be playing in the Ninja A-League. She's biding her time here at South Melbourne. Bennett, long. Avondale recognising that South Melbourne are just pressing that higher up the park, so it's tending to go further up the park, more direct. Collier, swing and a miss, actually falls to her advantage. Pantasopoulos holding up play. Be a South Melbourne throw. Collier, forward. Trainer clears. Ricardo goes all the way back to Bennett. Furukawa gives Tay. She's not far off it though, the striker. Westland. Barriero clears. Taranto with the throw. Chronopoulos, Miata, battle in the midfield, comes out at Iamano's feet. She tries to thread the needle one more time, but cut out by Avondale. Allen collects for the drop back to Barriero. Callan Knight in behind. Taranto was too high. She can whip the ball through the centre of the box. This time Candy reads the ball well and cuts it out ahead of the advancing Wilkinson. South Melbourne forward through Westland. She drifts out left. Forward run from Westland. Pantzopoulos can't quite find her. Avondale has the numbers in the defence. They'll need to be neat with their passes here, South Melbourne. White shirts all around. They can't find it, and it's cleared once again to Young. Collier sees it out. Picks up the throw, takes it long. Pantzopoulos, Westland together. Cleared by Miata. Wilkinson holding it up. Strong body work. Allen. And then forward from Sloane. She just dishes it out over the sideline. Can really feel the pressure here building for Avondale. South Melbourne are moments away from parity if they can just advance forward and get that final pass in the front third. They're putting a lot more pressure on this Avondale defence when they're trying to play out from the back. Callan Knight, 1-2 with Wilkinson. She's advancing into the box. Just Candy to beat, and the late challenge by Wallhead just knocks her off her feet, but nothing to do here, and there'll be a yellow card to Elise Callan Knight in the middle of the park because no doubt she feels that should have been a penalty. Candy did enough to transfer the pressure to Wilkinson, but the retreating Wallhead just putting enough pressure on Wilkinson. Hard to tell from this angle at what point did the bump come from Wallhead on Wilkinson. Rushing now, South Melbourne. Goes out to Taranto. Callan Knight will pick it up. She'll be composed. Iamano inside now. Drives. Roach. Does not hit that cleanly at all. Trying to find the balance between high energy, composed play from South Melbourne and just that frantic. Everybody seems to be in each other's way, not really playing forwardly like they have been in the last 3 weeks. Iamano, forward pass for Akawa, cleared by Barriero. Great timing from the left back. Akato can even keep it in here for Avondale. Back to Bennett. Iamano giving chase. Roach picks it up. She can hit it on the volley. Side steps Allen. Roach. This time Bennett fumbles at the back post. Pantzopoulos and cleared by Genetsaris. Pantzopoulos has two around. She can't quite get through. Avondale throw. Chronopoulos. Roach. Collier. All trying to swarm around the Avondale players. Bennett will clear. Byrne. Wilkinson. Back to Young. Young forward pass to Bogas. Cleared to Roach. Roach forward to Pantzopoulos. Iamano has front position in the box, but Genetsaris does well to cover the danger. Trainer just caught out of position there, and Pantazopoulos was able to get in behind, but second defender in Genetsaris doing well. Seasoned campaigner throughout the W League for Melbourne Victory and also at Turkey. Young doing the defensive work. Callan Knight trying to find the run of Bogas. South Melbourne throwing the numbers forward. Westland into Pantazopoulos. Need to recycle. Westland delivers. Too many players in the same position for South Melbourne as Barriero clears. Wilkinson trying to keep them that same well, but Taranto's able to slide inside because Miata just lost her footing. Roach goes back on the right-hand side to Iamano. Iamano just has Barriero to beat. She's in the box now. Ricochet off the crossbar. South Melbourne can smell a goal here. Collier drives inside. Collier on the rise, though. Couldn't keep it down. Look to make substitutions here for South Melbourne. Emily Roach exits the field.
Double substitution for South Melbourne.
Raquel Doralis.
Number 23, Emily Roach, and number
will enter the
16,
field,
Nikki
and Nikki Furukawa
coming on, number 10,
will
Raquel
be
Doralis.
substituted.
And her return, number 4, Danny Mikulev.
Danielle Mikulev returning to the Senol NPLW here in Victoria. Industrious striker returning from maternity leave. She'll look to get on the score sheet here this evening. The first minutes back for South Melbourne since having a baby. Great moment for all the mums out there watching. Genetsaris for Avondale, also 2 children. Doralis looks to get on the ball early for South Melbourne. Miata, Callan Knight now. She's got the numbers around her. She pokes it out to Barriero. Avondale with the numbers, back post. Cleared by Wallhead. Miata sitting deep in that midfield will keep up possession for Avondale. Miata finds Bogas. What a ball into the box. Great time tackle by Collier. South Melbourne doing the clearing now as Avondale just enjoyed that moment of possession. They really haven't had that sort of possession since the first half when South Melbourne were sitting off in a more compact block as Wilkinson goes down but gets it to Bogas. Bogas has Wilkinson now. Might go herself here. Wilkinson drifts inside. You can't give that time and space to Hannah Wilkinson, but the great block by South Melbourne. Able to get numbers centrally to back up. And the flick on, well dealt with by Gio Candy as Sloane Young was flying through the air to get ahead on that. They did well to time it. Pantazopoulos just pushes Miata off the ball. Be a free kick here for Avondale. They'll take the time to set something up here. Avondale, they have this 1-0 advantage that is probably boding well because South Melbourne have been piling on the pressure. And if they can just make this league extend, just give themselves some breathing room because South Melbourne certainly feel like they can score here. Callan Knight into the box. Candy, well placed. She could go long here, Candy, but she goes into Westland. Westland under pressure from Young. Taranto. Renopoulos wide. Tries to find. She can find Mikulev. Ball falls to Barriero though. Ricardo. Into Miata. Well worked by Avondale. Trying to find the free player. Great ball by Ricardo to find Allen sitting in that 10 position. Bogas can't control, but she's got time and space. Callan Knight into the box. Well blocked by Wallhead. Once again, she's been immense for South Melbourne in that back line. Ricardo trying to find the feet of Barriero. Clipped off Emano. The South Melbourne throw. Callan Knight. Barriero. Doralis. Working hard. Picking up possession for South Melbourne. Renopoulos. Allen. Out to Young. Young shapes up inside. Finds the back post run of Bogas. Smart work from the second half substitute. Candy going long. Mikulev. Flicked on by Miata. Back to Bennett through Janitsaris. Goalkeeper just off balance with Doralis well placed. Iamano can't quite get a touch on it to keep it in. The energy of Doralis has been great. Mikulev too coming in that forward line. Half-time substitution of Vlanich with Goodsmith having to go off early in that first half. Just finding that added bit of pressure in their press now, South Melbourne. Avondale not willing to take any risks playing out. They'll go long through Bennett. Wilkinson pressing. Westland gets it out to Taranto. She can control. Iamano. Top of the box is Renopoulos. Renopoulos on the volley. Blocked by Avondale. Both Ricardo and Janitsaris doing well to block Bennett's goal. Wilkinson holding up play. Callan Knight to Bogas. Bogas inside to Miata, but it's cut out again. But falls to Sydney Allen for Avondale. Young versus Collier. Second defender in Westland. Gets it to Allen. Allen keeping possession. She can fire. Off balance though. Under pressure from Renopoulos. Geo Candy just pushing up their troops. Going long. Doralis well controlled. Well held. Finds the feet of Taranto. Forward run of Iamano, but Ricardo does well to control. And Bennett asking Ricardo just to see it out over the end line. Bennett will go long in this goal kick. Taking away the opportunity for South Melbourne to press. Renopoulos for South Melbourne. Ball over the top to Mikulev. Janitsaris doing well and wins the goal kick. Some smart play there by the seasoned campaigner in Janitsaris. Bennett forward. Westland. Clearing. Allen back to Ocado. Bennett clears. Looking for Wilkinson. Wallhead does enough to win it for South Melbourne, but there's just no clean possession here for South Melbourne to take advantage. Young inside, finds the feet of Wilkinson with the through ball. Wilkinson takes it early, but can't quite pin a goal. Collier forward. South Melbourne still has 20 minutes, 15 minutes in this half of regular time. They just seem to be rushing that little bit too much. They certainly have the quality to play some possession football rather than go long so early, but can't harm them for trying to push and to go forward quickly. Iamano. Ocado slips over, but Miata there to cover. Young. She has Bogas. Taranto cuts it out. Wallhead has the time. She'll push into the midfield. Get it out to Collier. Collier to Pantasopoulos. She's 1v1 here, Pantasopoulos. This is where she's dangerous. She gets into the box. Front post, Mikulev. Iamato just takes it off the touch of Hernopoulos. Hernopoulos can't back it up with a shot on target due to the blocking of Barriero. This time Taranto into the box. Miata well placed. Just a slight glance off Iamano's boot there, just taking it off the advanced run of Hernopoulos. She couldn't hit it first time. Barriero clearing for Avondale. Wilkinson on the turn. Wallhead gets a foot to it. It's a benefit for Avondale to have that hold-up player like Hannon Wilkinson. She's a really strong target at the head of the team, just able to hold up play and calm things down. She's even there to put the backwards pressure on that midfield for South Melbourne. Byrne trying to clip it to Pantasopoulos. Collier comes inside. She can drive. She's trying to open up a passing lane. She can get it to Pantasopoulos. Pantasopoulos just clumsily challenged by Trainer, and this will pick up a yellow card for the Avondale defender. She is apologising as it was an accident, but this will be favourable for South Melbourne. They'll be looking to put this in the back of the net. They need to restore that parity to get themselves back in the game. It's been a much better outing for South Melbourne in this second half with a lot of high pressure, but Avondale no longer taking any risks playing out as we see Westland on the ball. Mikulev in the offside position. Interesting tactic. She would have been deemed offside. Should it have gone in? Obstructing the goalkeeper, but here we have Avondale. Wilkinson. She goes back onto the right-hand side. Can't quite find the feet of Bogas. Young. Callan Knight now for Avondale. Trying to get it forward. Collier on the turn. No depth in that South Melbourne defence to try and keep possession. They've got to launch it long once again. Wallhead winning the battle this time. Wilkinson had to foul. Taranto driving. She can drift inside here, but Miata picks her up and Taranto slides onto the ball. She comes inside. Taranto on the half volley. She goes all the way. Taranto. Cleared. Once again, they have to go long. South Melbourne. Avondale timing it well with the run of Sloane Young. Sloane Young covered by Collier. She's just well positioned there, Collier. She gets in front of Young between the ball and the striker. Young can only clatter into the back of her. Pantzopoulos fakes the cross. This time she'll deliver. Iamano offside there for Francesca Iamano. Substitution for Avondale. Trainer coming off. Might be Lazareski to come on for Trainer in that right back position. Collier, she's all alone. She has Wilkinson for company, though, from Avondale. Young forward. Byrne manages to get a touch on it. Goes to Kellen Knight. Avondale trying to keep possession. Doing a wonderful job at that. South Melbourne desperate to pick it up. Be a goal kick for South Melbourne. Doralis holding it up, tries to flick it onto Pantzopoulos, manages to. Miata is everywhere this evening for Avondale. Free kick on the Japanese national. Just sits in those pockets of space, does Miata. Mikulev gets the flick on, but Miata, once again for Avondale, can pick it up. Pantzopoulos giving chase. Bennett nearly caught on it, but she times it well. Taranto in front. South Melbourne have the numbers this time. Pantzopoulos, ball into the box, back post, flicked on by Miata. Immense work from Miata through that centre of the park, filling the gaps in that Avondale midfield and defence. Doralis tackles Allen. Doralis. Iamano once again in an offside position. Avondale still holding that slender lead from the 13th minute. It's 1-0 here at Lakeside Stadium to the visitors. South Melbourne throwing everything they have at this Avondale side. They've gone 1-0 up in the 13th minute and then been resolute with the second half display of pressure from South Melbourne. Another substitution for South Melbourne as we see Francesca Iamano headed off. This time Heidi Dalton entering the pitch. Young gets the header. Young with the lovely touch. Clashes through Hernopoulos though. Battle ensues. Picks up. Miata finds it. Mikolev throwing her body onto it. Doralis, lovely turn. Can't quite find the correct passing lane to get it to Pantazopoulos. Mikolev giving chase. Bennett just trying to soak up as much time as possible. Just 5 minutes here of time in regular 90 minutes. Avondale pushing forward for another goal. Wilkinson, great defending by Wallhead. Falls to Wilkinson, but she can't quite get off a powerful shot. Play is down in the middle of the park. Looks to be Sydney Allen for Avondale. Just a little bit of afters in that clash in the centre of the park. Both teams have been pushing themselves into challenges, been very physical battle. But a number of injuries for South Melbourne. In that first half, and then Avondale also losing Galluccio in the midfield in the first minute of the second half. So it's been a tough evening for both sides in the physical nature of the battle. Another substitution here, this time for Avondale. See Lila Ross coming on for Sydney Allen. Pushed herself to the limit, Sydney Allen, and she'll be replaced by Lila Ross. Avondale happy to drop off. South Melbourne will play. Heidi Dalton just stretching the field. Combines well. Taranto gets it into Doralis. Back out to Dalton. The substitute can inject herself well into this second half. Within minutes, she's created a corner for the home team. Miata, once again, a crucial challenge. Pantazopoulos this time to take. This time South Melbourne will crowd the goalkeeper. A number of opportunities, South Melbourne in previous weeks, capitalising on this stack. Pantazopoulos with the delivery. Bennett, she's pushed over the line. Will it go in? It will. It's only if it's deemed worthy, and it has been cleared by the referee, Sham, there's no way that she's not going to call this a goal. South Melbourne have regained parity here at Lakeside Stadium. It's South Melbourne 1, Avondale 1. Your guess is as good as mine as to who that came off in the end, but South Melbourne know that if they get a corner opportunity, in the final minutes they can stack the goalkeeper and end up bundling it over. I think they're pointing towards someone in the back line to have finished that play off. Sharp referee probably also not knowing who that came off in the end. Collier with the throw.
Goal for South Melbourne. The score is South Melbourne 1.
Finish it off here and get all 3 points. Continue their streak of wins as Pantasopoulos glides inside, and Dalton! What a way to enter into this second half! She had nearly 5 minutes to do damage. Pantasopoulos drifting into the box. Heidi Dalton unmarked in the 6-yard box, and she makes no mistake from that area. It's South Melbourne 2, Avondale 1.
Goal for South Melbourne Hollis, number 21, Heidi Dalton. The score is South Melbourne 2, Avondale 1.
Avondale trying to piece together exactly what happened in order for South Melbourne to get that goal, or the first one, no doubt, but Avondale trying to push forward now. It's their turn to try and regain parity. They've been in the lead this entire game, but in the last 5 minutes, South Melbourne has been managed to be in the advantage when it counts. In the 90th minute here, just a matter of time before the final whistle blows. Crazy scenes here at Lakeside Stadium. South Melbourne pushing all half. Very much has been their pressure that has capitalised here. Avondale look to have been holding firm, especially through the defensive work of Miata. But South Melbourne just kept knocking and knocking and knocking at that door. The substitutions made by Mikulev, Coach Mikulev, and then Byrne now giving it away at the top of the box. Young, pass 1, pass 2. She can't quite get that final touch. And it'll be a throw for Avondale, deep, deep, deep in their front herd. Oh, a clearance from Westland, ricocheting. This is where they need to find that composure, South Melbourne. They've been chasing the game the whole 45 minutes here, but now they're in the lead. They just have to calm, play it out, whereas Avondale are now, they are the one chasing the game as Heidi Dalton. Great work there by Claridge. She's gone down injured in that tackle as well. Heidi Dalton, the goal scorer, coming on in the 85th minute, literally scoring a minute later. She's walking away gingerly from that tackle as this time Bennett going forward. Miata trying to be composed in there, but Doralis pushing forward. South Melbourne still pushing for more goals. It's hard to change that mentality from chasing to needing to score to now being ahead. And the push from Mercado, not called. It goes back to Westland. Talking about a change of fortune here for South Melbourne. Pantasopoulos finally running it into the corner. Soaking up some time for the home side. Be an Avondale throw. South Melbourne needing to get numbers behind the ball. Young to control, to Kellen Knight, forward to Wilkinson. Wilkinson trying to read the flight of the path of the ball, but Wallhead able to intercept. Avondale now with the hastiness, have been composed all day in possession. You can see that change of mentality for them. Now it's South Melbourne trying to draw the fouls, trying to slow the game down, soaking up the minutes. Byrne drives forward. Claridge clears. Cleared by Miata. Young gets the advantageous. And that's the final whistle here at Lakeside Stadium.
Full time here at Lakeside Stadium, and South Melbourne have won.
Giving it their all.
2-1.
1-0 all the way through that game, but South Melbourne piling the pressure on, and the home side come away with the 3 points deep into that second half, with Heidi Dalton finishing off a great run by Panterzopoulos. It's hard to know who scored their first one, so I'll get that information to you when I have it. But we finished here, Lakeside Stadium in the Senol NPLW, South Melbourne 2, Avondale 1.